84 was before President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni came on. So this was during Mr. Obote's
Yes, that
time.
was Obote too.
Obote too.
Yes.
Was he a friend to the media during that time? Was he a person that was media friendly?
Okay, you know.
Would you host him here sometimes?
No, he didn't come during that time. But okay, because me had just started working 1984, but we would be very careful. We would be ethical. You would not just utter anything because you didn't know the person near you. So we would just do our work on it.
And when you actually say 84, what really comes to my mind is that this was during the war, actually. That means President Museveni was in the bush during that time because he went into the bush 81.
Yes.
Till 86. So was that some of the information constituting your news during that time? And as a national broadcaster, where were you? Whose side were you? Mr. Obote or Mr. Museveni's side?
No.
or the national broadcaster was not?
It wasn't. You know, when we joined, we had to make vows that you say, I, Christine, I'll not air anything which is distasteful to the welfare of the nation.
So I would like to clarify for our audience on why they call the media the fourth estate. The media is the fourth estate because the three arms of government, as we all know them, are the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. So then comes in the fourth estate because none of these other three arms can actually operate effectively without the media. The media is that channel that is going to communicate to the masses. That's why the scholars that go through this kind of work are called mass communication scholars. So, Mama, 84 you join, and how do you grow in the ranks? Because you're now operations manager. Is that how you entered?
I was just a technical assistant by the time I joined the Radio Uganda. Then I went on upgrading.
Okay.
Yes.
So at that time, was it required of you to have an educational background that was inclined to broadcast?
Okay. When we joined, there was a school of engineering with the Ministry of Information. So when we did the interviews, they had to take us, and we studied because they know they would handle microphones, so they would show you what a microphone is, how it is wired, everything they would show us. Then from there, we would get the basics of broadcasting. Then they would take you to the studio.
Okay.
Then we had to go, because I studied from, by then it was called Polytechnic Chambogo, and we were hands-on. 2 years, they give you a diploma. So we started everything. It was called RTET. RT, radio, television, electronics.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would teach us and would come when we are really perfect.
Okay. So I would also like to know, during that time before Radio Uganda and Uganda Television merged, was it was there a way that you would both collaborate, or you were operating as still individual entities, in that a news bulletin, perhaps, for example, that would happen on Radio Uganda would not necessarily be the kind of news that would be aired on UTV?
The only difference would be maybe about the pictures, like the video which you show in the bulletin, but the news was one.
So it would even air at the same time?
Yes.
So UTV and Radio Uganda would broadcast at the same time?
Not at the same time, but the reader has to first get the censored news from a person who has
edited it.
Yeah, edited it.
Yes.
Yes. So we would just, for us here at radio, we would just run the signature tune, then someone would read from UTV.
Okay. So I now want to know, we progress from analog gradually. When do you start seeing signs of digital coming in? Because I'm sure it didn't come in at once. There were a few equipment, I'm sure, because that's how most technological advancements happen? They happen piecemeal. Before you know it, you are there.
Okay, there came a time when they said we should transfer from analog to digital. It was now called the digital era.
Which year was that?
I think it was 2000. We had a minister, Mr. Basoga Nsadu. So there is a company called Comsat. They said they had to buy satellite equipment. So they built a satellite uplink in UTV. So they said we should start going digital. This is when the digital era started.
Okay. So, Mama, we come to 2005, the UBC Act is made. How did this affect the employees here?
Okay, because the Office of Ministry of Information was abolished, so they said they should merge it, UTV and the Radio Uganda. UTV transferred back here to radio because we are operating in Nakasero, so we came here. But the first 3 months, this place couldn't be enough. We had to operate from Kololo. This is where the TV was. So they would take OB van, and we would just use the OB van as a studio. Not until they prepared somewhat studios here, then we had to come here to radio.
How long did you use an OB van as a studio?
I think it was over 4 to 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
and we are operating from Kololo.
Okay.
I'm Olive Monica Najuma, the show host for Good Morning Uganda, and you're watching Inside Broadcasting.
Hi, my name is Frederick Higa, social media coordinator. You're watching Inside Broadcasting.
Hi there, my name is Joram Paul Sonko, a presenter with Good Morning Uganda and at the same time a show host of the Business Roundup. And you are watching Inside Broadcasting.
So the staff, I mean, in that now they've joined Uganda, Radio Uganda and UTV. Were there any layoffs of people or and change of contractual obligations? Were there some people who transferred from radio and started primarily working into TV? I want to know how the merging of UTV and Radio Uganda affected the staff here at Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
Okay, when they abolished the Ministry of Information, some of our colleagues were laid off. But for us, we are, at least me, I was lucky. And by then I was working as radio. Then we started the digital transmission. They wanted, by then we didn't have a UPS in the satellite uplink. So they wanted someone to be there monitoring. In case power goes off, someone programs. And when they looked around for those people who were doing TV work, there was no person who was serious. All people were, they would just move and move. Then they said, what do we do? We need someone. Then the engineers in radio said, no, at least there is a lady by the name of Christine. When she comes to work, she sits, monitors. So I think she'll be a serious person to do that work. This is how I was taken up. But we had the engineer called Engineer Batanda. He showed me what to do. Then I would do that work. Then there came a time when they got the UPS. Now I decided that since the UPS is already in place, let me go back to my work as a technical in the radio studio. They said, no. You just remain in TV.
So, Mama, I heard you mention something called an uplink. Would you care to explain to our audience what an uplink is?
Okay, it is a technical term, but now like when you are in the studio, now like how you transmit like this is signal to Kololo what? It is an uplink, it's like a microwave. Okay, it goes through a dish, that's why it's called uplink. Yes, from the dish, then it is radiated to
the rest of the receivers around there. All right, to maybe help our audience understand. So Broadcast House is here. a lot of broadcast business is happening. So there is a point at which all signals are sent
Converge, and then they are what antennas
to broadcast
yes,
it
broadcast that is
all over the airwaves. So in our air, there are airwaves, and where you are located, whether you're in Gulu, whether you're in Arua, they are usually called devices called receivers. So these receivers pick up the signal, and the signal enters those receivers, and then you know, it also broadcasts it, I think, to all the receivers that you have within your homes and offices, or wherever you listen or watch your UBC stations from. So, Mama, what does it take to grow in an industry like this, the way you do or the way you did?
But you have to be passionate for the job, because I felt it was my passion. I liked it. In fact, when we had just started, when these FM stations came in, there is one called the CBS. They came looking for us, but me, I said no. I have to remain here at Radio Uganda.
Why did you want to remain with Radio Uganda?
I think it was my passion. I just liked my seniors and the way they would handle me. Okay. They had trust in me. I said, no, I cannot change.
I also figure that you traveled a lot when you were here. I saw your photographs, and you traveled to Germany, you traveled to Libya, you traveled so many places just learning broadcast media. Would you enlighten us on how these initiatives helped you become the lady you are today? And maybe which places you visited and for what purposes?
Okay, I got a training with the Deutsche Welle. I got training with Egypt, Cairo. Okay, because in Cairo at least I stayed a year, but the training was great. And those people have very good machines, the transmitter, and the way they could delay, because they had to take us to see their studios. They are not like here, because like here, when it is, if you are like to use a PC, it can fail at a point. Then it means that program will stop. But for them, their laying was they would just install it's called redundancy mode, such that in case you are running a program from this machine and it has a sort of a failure, the other one switches off automatically. So we had to train.
Switches off or switches on?
Switches on automatically. Instead of saying that, hey, this one has failed, no. So the wiring would be in redundancy mode.
Okay. So that was in Egypt?
That was Egypt.
What other things did you learn from Egypt? Because I figure that they must have been ahead of us in terms of, broadcasting at that time.
Yes.
And which year was this when you went to Egypt?
2001. By the time we were there, they had already gone digital. Everything was really super. And for us, we had just started.
Okay. And then what's the story with Deutsche Welle?
With Deutsche Welle, because Radio Uganda, they used to import like a Studas, those machines were used from Deutsche Welle. So those people wanted us that in case you are to use a studio you need to be trained. So now those people, sometimes they would come here, or they would select like a few to go and study using those particular machines. Okay. We are just going to study using those machines because they used the Studas and so many other equipment. Okay. So we had to go and train on those machines.
Okay. Wow, I really don't think I can exhaust your story much enough, but I would like to squeeze out the juice as much as I can. So today you're now operating as an operations manager. What is required of you as an operations manager? What do you do on a daily basis?
Okay, now like in my case, you see I am a mature adult. Time management is very important, because if I know I'm to start a show at 6, I cannot come at 6 or 10 past. Is what I have to be on time. First look at the machines. try to remove either the dust. I do some little preventive maintenance, dusting off. I just make sure that everything is set. Now, like me, I come early. I do the cameras. We call it to black and white balance the cameras. I check on the microphones to see that they're in the proper condition.
Okay. Wow, I think that's something so many people in technical spaces don't understand. I also took a while before I understood how to handle wires. At first I would get wires and just fold them and maybe keep them, not knowing that if you keep a wire folded, it can break inside, yeah? So you need to either fold it in a systematic way or just hang it somewhere. That's for you if you want to, keep your equipment prolonged for...
Time management is very important.
Yeah, so she also mentions time management. How important is time in broadcast? How important is time?
It is because if at all the show is slated to start maybe at 6, you cannot really come at a 6:15. You have to be there. You need some time to arrange and prepare for a good show. Instead of someone has already started, I tell you, Ryan, the microphone is not working, I tell you, this camera is it's better you get time, then you prepare something before.
Okay. So, Mama, for the 40 years that you have worked at UBC, do you have one memory or highlight that you can remember and would like to share with our viewers?
Okay. There are so many, but at least I'll point out one. There is a day when His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, came to our station. It was at night, UTV. And on that day, I happened to be on duty, like a duty engineer. So they called us that you come and Then I saw the big man, and he had to shake with me. I just felt so humbled because I didn't expect that to happen.
This was President Museveni?
President Museveni.
Yes.
He came to UTV, and I happened to be on duty. I had to welcome him and then show him around what we do.
And I think this is something that I keep telling so many media scholars. This is something that I keep telling so many media scholars, that when you work in the media industry, this is an opportunity for you to know as many people as you can. You are only limited by your social ability. On my personal experience, on a daily basis, I'm saving about over 10 numbers of new people on a daily basis that I don't even know. So how do you know that maybe tomorrow you're going to You're going to meet the president. You might meet the president of Libya the next day. You might meet very, very key influential figures. So it's always important for you to make sure that you are prepared for each and every opportunity that God will place before you in your career as a journalist. And also those of you who are out there, those of you who interact with the media, it's important for you to know that through the people we meet, we get exposed to different cultures. So we get to know things sometimes, even when you tell us, we already know some of the things, but you are always also adding on to us. So you play a very key role in whatever office you do to add on to us. So we all work together and prosper together. So Mama, we are ending the interview here. I would like to ask you maybe 3 questions that are quite interesting. Okay. I see you're a senior citizen and you're either soon retiring. Would you rather retire in a city or would you rather retire in a village setting? Where would you rather retire?
What you've asked, I'm already a retired person. I retired when it came to 2022. I retired. I spent just like 3 months. They had to call me to give assistance to the younger people here.
Okay.
I'm already a retired person.
All right.
Retired but not tired. I was just called back to come and give assistance.
So I will take it that you're retired in the city. All right, and then when it comes to applications and gadgets, do you prefer using phones or do you prefer using computers?
Me, I'm not so much used to using what? Phones or what, because our long time ago we just used to use typewriters, so I would rather use what?
You'd rather use a typewriter? Analog.
Analog.
Kwegamba.
Still analog.
Wow. Okay, and then the last one, when it comes to food, do you prefer fried food or boiled food?
No. Me, I'm a vegetarian first of all. Me, I like greens so much. I just eat little food, but greens. That's why I've kept
yes, that's the secret.
Yes.
Muchala Wadulo, prepare those greens. Anyways, Mama, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I think it's an honor, and I'm happy that UBC has been able to capture this story and kept you, looking good and helping us. We would not have had this opportunity to, have this story if you had retired early and decided to go to the village. So we're thankful. Thank you very much, Mama. Thank you very much, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. Thank you very much, the government of Uganda, for each and every thing that you do to enable us to do the work we do. Otherwise, one thing that I pick from Mama Christine's story is